Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 74 of Like, Share, Follow. And this morning I have Angelina Raisa, who is a director of visual communications and a social media specialist. Creative director, visual communication and social media specialist at that Gypsy Angelina. I'm sorry, Angelina. And also has just finished her degree at the University of the Sunshine Coast. Well, welcome, Angelina.
Thank you so much for having me, Karen. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to have you on because you were always such an active member and engaged member in our online classes at USC. So I couldn't actually wait until you finished it. Not that I wanted to see the back of you. I wanted you to finish your degree and then could have you on the show. So tell me, what has life been like now that you've finished university?
Well, I currently have an injury, so I'm not working exactly, but I'm still making sure that I'm staying present in the social media realm, as to say, because it's very important to stay present. That way, when I'm ready to return to work and my injury is, copable, I can just dive right in. So since I've seen you. Actually, I saw you November last year for the exhibition, which was really amazing to see you there. So that was the Tiny Details exhibition, which was really lovely. And you would have seen when you went there a children's book, which I'm not allowed to share, actual imagery or anything online for yet. But that is still currently going ahead with the International Design Program with USC. Fantastic. So that was the draft. So I'm still doing a children's illustrated book, and I'm currently creatively writing for that as well. So that, jumping into being an author all of a sudden has been quite exciting. So that's still happening. On top of that, I am self-publishing my own magazine called Heart the Missing Piece.
Yeah.
So though I'm not running as a business or anything like that, I want to make a difference in people's lives. So with this magazine, I've basically tried to make it something that everybody can, feel connected to. Like you would have heard me say at the speech of the design exhibition, my favorite quote from Robert L. Peters was, "Design creates culture and culture shapes values and values shape the future." And because I know that we design our content and our strategies and our captions and our online presence, I know that with that kind of presence online, that we have a responsibility. So with everything that I create as a creative director, I try and encapsulate a whole approach so that people can get that holistic feeling when it comes to social media. It's not just a facade of visual communication, but it is a feeling and an emotion that they get from it. So,
yeah, and I mean your content is just exquisite. Like particularly like your designs and your posts and things, and I see you mainly on LinkedIn and on Instagram, and I love your content. And we've had other people on the show who've actually mentioned your content as well. So you do have a very devoted following out there. So it's been great that you've kept, you keep doing that and you keep being present on these platforms, because we need more people like you posting positive content.
Yes, I guess. Well, you see this day and age with social media and the way that media itself has changed. What once was before a fax is now an email, and now our phone does everything for us. So with that media convergence, it's just, you've got to make sure that the presence you have online is a positive presence. It's important, I think.
Yeah. And so we're here to talk a little bit about sort of career stuff. So what has been some of the best advice that you've been given about how to succeed in your career?
I've got two. My first one would be, what works for you may not work for anyone else. It doesn't mean that your skill isn't necessary. It just means that it's not going to be used in a traditional manner. So by social media, for me, originally I was going down that path of being a social media manager, because that's what was traditional recently, which was not traditional, obviously, before. Before no one really thought of social media as part of a business. Now it is. so for career, like I think of that advice that I got, that it meant that maybe my dream role was not existent yet.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've created this, as a creative director, and dive into a few different things as a career, because it just means to me that what I want is going to be created by me, rather than, a business or something that I have to apply to.
Yeah. And it's so admirable. Like, that's right. If it doesn't exist, create it. Like, that's the thing. Like, don't just sit there and be discouraged. Actually use that as a motivation to go and make it happen.
Yes, and students don't realize the power that they have with that. They can approach businesses that they've done their research on. All it takes is the right question, the right research, and approach that business and say, look, I see that you're doing this, but I really think that you would benefit with a little bit of these other things that I can offer you. And they may not have a role for it yet, but you can create that role there with them. If that's the company that you want to work for because they've got the values that you want, then just create the role for them, explain to them why they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, drawing on now your time as a student, what was been some of the most beneficial things that you learned at university that you will use, that you use now, but also when you go back to your business, that you'll use to help your business succeed?
Research skills, and measurement analysis.
Yeah.
I measure everything, like, and not just the nice, beautiful, simple data that we get back from what we're posting and creating, but being really aware and being able to myth bust different things, follow different trends, understand the way social cultures behave online, because we connect with people differently online than we do offline. So researching that behavior that you can create online and measuring it, is definitely been the most successful part of me that has just stuck with me from university. Like, research skills is just, yeah, once you learn that, you're set for life. You can find the career you want with research. You can find the job role or the person that might mentor you to the right direction with the right research. So research and measurement all the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. And at least, like, you can't always predict everything, but with research, at least you can take a very calculated guess,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you're much closer to the answer if you've done some research than if you're just pulling it out of the sky. So,
Yes, exactly. And with that, like, I learned from yourself, having those Google alerts that come to my email address with different keywords. And then there was that mention.com, I think
yeah.
it is. And you just go in there, you type in keywords, and it comes straight to your email. Like, so your research can be continuing when you're not even online doing physical research.
Yeah, you can automate it, and it works for
Exactly.
you, and you can still be so informed.
Exactly. So I still use those, even to this day. I still use a lot of things from your class classes.
And so, on the flip side of that, what is something you wish we'd covered at university that you didn't?
Well, when I first came out of university, at first I really thought that I wanted and needed to learn more about Facebook ads and Google ads. So I have thought about this question for a while, and after doing a little bit of contract work and a little bit of help with Oh My Digital, I realized that it. I wouldn't say that that is something that university can directly teach. You can get this information from the resources, the sources themselves. Google has a Google Garage and Google Digital Learning platforms, and Facebook also has the same. And so when it comes to actually creating advertisements on these platforms, like you said, research and data can tell you a lot, but you can't predict the future, and you can't predict social behaviors or trends. They're not completely predictable to a full extent. So success and failure in advertising comes in practice. The only thing that I would suggest when it comes to being better at advertising for Facebook and Google would maybe be learning how to do funnel advertising. Advertising. So I'd say maybe it's just that I didn't have enough marketing courses myself, because I was more of the visual communications design and social media student. But yeah, I can't say that there is one thing that I really needed at uni, because I had a lot of access. You gave us access to so much resource. So there's definitely not one thing.
I do agree with that lack of sort of the digital advertising aspect. So we tried to cover that in like a bit in some of the final year social media courses. But I think there's been a revamp of the creative advertising discipline now. So hopefully more about funnel ads and things like that will be in there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I completely agree.
And that would be really hard still for the course content to be created, because it changes, like all Facebook settings and everything, access to it changes.
Like practically doing that, like you actually, because you need money to run ads. So to even to really practically test it and things like that. So yeah, but I'm sure there must be a way. So
maybe just terminology, return on investment, ROI. Maybe just a little.
In the analytics course, we do cover all those terms, but maybe we need to go a bit more deeply into them.
Yeah.
So, and so I have a question here, because you're your own boss. Like I always ask, what do you think set you apart from other graduates going for a particular role? But what do you think sets you apart in running a successful business?
The fact that I applied the same, basically the same methods that we learned in that research. So for my personal life, I create SMART goals and SWOT analysis. So with that personal goal, I will then make it match up with my career goals and make those, the SWOT analysis, finding my strengths and my weaknesses, and knowing where I need to learn more through that weakness. I think that's where I am separated from others, because I look for my weaknesses and I go online, and then I go on LinkedIn Learning, as you know, and Coursera, and I do the extra research. So I think that that's probably what sets me apart. I take that extra time. And you know what? It really doesn't actually take a lot of time. LinkedIn Learning, you can ×2 on the speed and be able to pay attention to it when it's faster. Sometimes you don't fall asleep if you've got it going really quickly and you have to pay attention. So I think that's what set me apart, making sure that I utilize all of those free resources.
Yeah, because there's heaps, and it's not extra work. It's more like you can fill the gaps that, you think about what do you want, where do you want to be, what role do you want to have, what do you want to do, and then find the gaps and then find all the resources to fill them. So yeah, it's great that you do that, because learning doesn't end when you finish university. So you're constantly doing courses and learning and trying new things, new tools and all that sort of stuff. So it just continues.
Yes, absolutely. Because when I last had my class with you, was the end of 2020. Reels were only just starting. So how were we to learn that after the class had finished? It was self-taught, self-research. I think that sets you apart when you just keep learning and you keep diving deeper into what your weaknesses are or what you need more strength in.
Because there's only so much we can. If I could include everything in those courses, you would be there for 10 years. So but I can't. I've only got, and then they keep limiting what I can even put in there. But so it's great that you're so conscientious and you have that curiosity that it drives you to keep learning.
Yes. The curiosity doesn't stop. Sometimes I don't sleep because of it. I need the answers.
And tell me, because you're still very active on social media. So what are some things that you've learned in the last couple of weeks that you would like to share with the people watching?
I would have to say probably the most simplest thing that I could really think of is to practice safe social media. Like, is social media good for me right now in this moment? Like, just in the last 2 weeks, I've evaluated my time and how am I to learn more if I'm spending too much time on social media in a different, way, not utilizing it, with purpose. Because we all get lost in Instagram reels and the scroll and TikTok. I try to avoid TikTok now because I go down the rabbit hole for hours. Like,
No,
hours.
oh, I love it too much, way too much.
Yeah. I'll find the good moment where I know, okay, I've got nothing to do for the rest of the day. So if I get lost in the rabbit hole of TikTok, then that's going to work for me. That's healthy for me right now. But
Yeah.
yes, otherwise, if I know that I need to exercise or do yoga or meditation or something, I ask myself straight away, like, is social media good for me right now? I think
Yeah.
that's probably the most important thing I learned just in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, you're right, because it's a time suck and it's designed to keep you on there. So
Yes.
unless you're mindful about what you're doing, yeah, I see TikToks where people joke about them, they wake up and have a look and then they realize it's actually nighttime. They have to go to sleep again. Like, that can happen. So
Yeah.
you've got to be very careful.
Yes, that's right.
And so what advice would you give? So you've given great advice already, but so because you're now finished, so to emerging professionals who are still studying, what advice would you give to them to succeed in their careers?
First of all, definitely take every free resource from university that you possibly can. So not just the resources that you would always send in our emails and post online on Facebook group, on the group page, but also the resources that the university is offering. The university itself, so many people that I was in class with didn't know that there was research classes that can teach you how to research better, classes that can teach you how to write notes better, or write essays. Like, all of those free resources are so overlooked, and I managed to tap into them so well that it just gave me that little bit of more of a cutting edge, just having knowledge about having an unconscious bias. They've got classes on having unconscious bias and learning to be an ally for diversity. So definitely that would be one of my top tips for advice for students, about to graduate. And obviously your everything that you put in emails, make time to watch those. Most of the things that you post up is YouTube clips anyway, and they can be ×2 or times, however much you want to get through that content. So time, I wouldn't say is an issue. You can't use time as an excuse, because nearly everything can be, read through quickly. The other thing that I would probably say is, remember that roadblocks and boundaries are really redirection opportunities. I think that's probably one of my most important things. Oh, and collaborate. Yep. Learn to collaborate and create together with other students. Interview them or ask them questions. Shout out to other people in the networks. Reach out online to all sorts of businesses that you actually want to work for before you graduate. Make a connection with someone in that business and just actually genuinely have a relationship with people. I think that's definitely what I would say. And LinkedIn Learning, because I've already mentioned that earlier.
And even LinkedIn Learning on LinkedIn, because so many students aren't they're so used to the platforms they use to I guess to connect with their friends that this LinkedIn's quite foreign. But geez, you can, if you're on there and you're active, you can get so many opportunities coming your way. You learn about great roles, and the connections you make are fantastic.
Yes, I've actually been offered a lot of jobs via LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like so many. And like a part of me is like, oh, I want it. But I can't because of my arm and because of my other goals that I've got in the future. But these roles are amazing social media and digital design roles that I've been offered all through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't underestimate LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Make not just your profile and then visit, also make a whole social media strategy and content for it. Because
Yeah.
people often they're like, oh yes, LinkedIn, they make a profile and they think, okay, that's it. Something will roll in soon. But no,
Yeah.
you need a strategy, you need to post.
Yeah. How are they even going to know you're there unless you're actually active? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's absolutely true. And the resources as well. So I think a lot of students don't realize that we actually have a whole career development area at USC that can help with your CV, with job interviews. They get career opportunities through there as well. But so many students just don't realize that it's there and think they're on their own. But there's a whole heap of resources in lots of different sort of facets that can assist people who are about to graduate or even still studying.
Yes, absolutely. I think before, when I was still studying, it was Blackboard, and I think now there's a transition to a new
To
platform,
Canvas. Yeah.
Canvas. So I'm sure that there's going to be a whole section on Canvas with topic news. Make sure you read them, people. That is like key research information in just the platform for university alone to access all different types of content and people. And the student guild, like if you're just wanting to make friends, connect with people in the student guild.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this brings me to the most important question of the whole show, and that is, who do you like, share, and follow?
um I have a few. They're not really like jumping into the social media field as much, other than Safe Social Media .co. I'm an ambassador for them because it's good to learn, and it's a non-for-profit organization, so it's good to learn and teach others about having a safe social media presence, because as we all know, once online, always online. And there was a bit of a gap in the industry that the founder, Bailey Parnell, had, which was the children were being taught, and high schools being taught, about internet safety and cyber safety, but where is that social media mental health safety? So there was a huge gap for a while there. So
Yeah.
I follow Safe Social Media Co. very closely, and make sure I practice it and teach my children a lot of safe social practices. But other than that, Style magazines, I worked for them years ago, and before it's purely a magazine company that is also hired to work for other organizations like Winter Garden and things like that, to create little booklets and lookbooks and things like that. But over the years, from the moment that I left there, that's when social media started to really hit home for businesses. And if you didn't transition to online, you were going to lose business and lose customers. So
Yeah.
I think when I watch Style Magazine from the start and to this time right now, and you see that transition, you see that they went from just being a magazine to now having social media interns and social media teams that go around. They do reels and they do all sorts of different things for TikTok now. Like that wasn't there years ago. So Style Magazines is just something that I love to watch personally, because you watch, they are actually actively trying to transition as social media transitions.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. Other than that, just a couple of illustrators, Carrie Hess and Megan Hess, because they also utilize social media differently. They were just illustrators before for large companies, and now they're in publishing, and they do children's books and products and classes. So, again, utilizing that social media platform to create a masterclass online during COVID was just amazing to me. There's possibilities online.
Absolutely. And so maybe you could even tag those accounts on
Absolutely.
this post so others can follow them too.
Yes, I can do that.
And so this brings us to the end of our interview. So do you have any final words to share with those watching?
If you're going to create anything online, make sure that you create knowing that you're influencing someone. It may be one person, but that one person can make all the difference in the world. So make sure that when you're creating something, create something for change or opportunity. I think that would be the most important thing.
Good advice. And we've had some comments left this morning. So we've had Anthony Roberto and Gillian Hall. So Anthony said first, good morning, Dr. Karen Sutherland and Angelina from glorious Melbourne. And Gillian said, Dr. Karen Sutherland and Angelina for this very inspiring conversation to start my day. Anthony then said, love your ingenuity, enthusiasm, passion and creativity, Angelina. And Gillian agreed. And then Anthony said, continued success, Angelina, with your magazine and future career progression. Thank you for an insightful, motivational and interesting discussion. So thank you very much, Anthony and Gillian. Lovely. Yeah. And so that brings us to the end of episode 74. And so episode 75 will be with Chantal Barclay, who's also just finished her degree. And Chantal is now actually in Canberra working for the Royal Australian Mint as a design and development support officer. So that will be very interesting. I've never known anyone who's worked at the Mint before, so we'll find out what that's all about next week. So thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being on the show, Angelina, and thanks for watching, everyone else. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.